This is your moment to take control of your mind. Not tomorrow, not when life gets easier, right now. This audiobook is your step-by-step reprogramming manual, designed to teach you how to stay calm under pressure, how to think clearly in chaos, and how to win in situations that used to break you. From this moment forward, you are training your mind to operate with discipline, strategy, and unshakable focus. You're not here to feel motivated. You're here to rewire yourself. Let's begin.
Chapter 1. Stop letting your first reaction decide your fate. Your first reaction is the most dangerous version of you. It's unfiltered, it's emotional, it's impulsive. And if you allow it to lead, it will cost you opportunities, relationships, clarity, and years of progress you can never get back. You already know this. You've lived this. You've said things you didn't mean. You've taken actions you later regretted. You've reacted to stress with panic, to pressure with excuses, to discomfort with escape. And every time, a part of you knew, this wasn't the real you. This was your first reaction taking control. You have a choice. That's the key. You can keep letting your first reaction decide your fate, or you can train yourself to pause, think, and respond like someone in command. This chapter is the beginning of that training. Your first reaction is designed to protect you, not advance you. It's primitive. It's outdated. It's the part of your brain that still believes every inconvenience is a threat. Every challenge is danger. Every discomfort is a warning sign telling you to run, attack, or shut down. That's why anger shoots out instantly. That's why fear rises instantly. That's why insecurity whispers instantly. Your brain is not asking what will move you forward. It's asking what will keep you safe. But safety is not always success. Comfort is not always growth. And survival mode is not how you build a strong, strategic mind. You need a new response system. A trained one. A conscious one. A deliberate one. This is where the second thought comes in. The second thought is your weapon, your shield, your internal commander stepping into the room and saying, "Stop. We're not doing that. We're doing this." The second thought is the opposite of impulse. It's clarity. It's discipline. It's control. And control is power. Think about the last time you reacted without thinking. Maybe someone insulted you, and instead of walking away with your dignity, you fired back and escalated the situation. Maybe you received unexpected pressure at work, and instead of staying composed, you rushed, panicked, made mistakes, and then blamed the pressure itself. Maybe someone you care about said something that touched an old wound, and your first reaction was defensiveness, anger, withdrawal, anything except communication. Every time you react with your first impulse, you surrender your advantage. You hand your power to the person, the moment, the emotion. You let the situation dictate you instead of you dictating the situation. And here's the truth. You don't need their permission to stay calm. You don't need life to be easy to stay in control. You don't need perfect conditions to hold your power. You just need the discipline to choose your second thought. Let's make this real. Let's break it down into behavior. Scenario 1. Someone provokes you. Your first reaction? Anger. But anger is just fear wearing a louder mask. Your second thought is don't react, redirect. You redirect your energy into silence, posture, and clarity. You turn the moment into observation instead of escalation. You win because you didn't take the bait. Scenario 2. Stress hits you unexpectedly. Your first reaction? Panic. Panic is the mind sprinting without direction. Your second thought is don't react, redirect. You slow your breathing, slow your thoughts, slow your decisions. You take control of your pace because pace determines power. Scenario 3. You feel insecure or overwhelmed. Your first reaction? Avoidance or overthinking. But overthinking is scattered energy, not strategy. Your second thought is don't react, redirect. You focus on one action, not 10. 1. You take the step and break the paralysis. That's how the second thought changes your life. Not by removing emotion, but by overriding impulsive emotion with strategic intention. Here's what you must understand. You are not trying to kill your emotions. You are trying to master them. You are trying to turn them from automatic reactions into deliberate responses. It's not about being cold. It's about being controlled. It's not about suppressing fear. It's about directing fear. It's not about eliminating anger. It's about using that energy where it serves you. You have a choice. Every time. Even when it feels like you don't. That's the key. Now let's talk about training. Because this isn't theory. This is practice. Daily practice. Training method number 1. The one breath rule. Before you respond, you take one slow breath. Not for peace, for control. That's your reset, your interruption, your doorway into the second thought. Training method number 2. Label the emotion. When you feel the reaction rising, anger, fear, insecurity, defensiveness, you name it. Here comes anger. Here comes panic. Here comes ego. Naming it reduces its power. You separate the emotion from your identity. Training method number 3. Ask the commander question. A simple question. What response keeps me in control? Not what feels good, not what feels natural, not what they deserve. Control. Only control. You don't need their permission to control yourself. You don't need agreement. You don't need validation. You just need the discipline to stay committed to the second thought. Here's what will happen once you master this. People will notice something different about you. A calmness, a steadiness, an unshakable presence. They won't know what changed, but they'll feel it. You'll stop being easy to provoke. You'll stop being easy to manipulate. You'll stop being predictable. Because first reactions are predictable. Second thoughts are strategic. You will start choosing responses that move you forward, not ones that pull you back. You will operate from clarity instead of chaos. And you will win. Not through aggression, but through discipline. Remember the phrase, don't react, redirect. Don't react, redirect. Say it until it becomes automatic. This chapter is your first step. You can't train your mind to win in every situation if you keep losing the first battle, the battle between reaction and response. Master this, and the rest of the audiobook becomes 10 times more powerful. You've learned how impulses sabotage your decision-making. You've learned the power of the controlled pause. You've learned how to build and practice your second thought. Now it's time to go deeper. You've taken control of your reactions. Now let's take control of the pressures that trigger them.
Chapter 2. Pressure is not the enemy. Lack of preparation is. Pressure isn't your problem. Pressure isn't your enemy. Pressure isn't the reason you break, panic, freeze, or collapse. Lack of preparation is. Pressure doesn't create weakness. Pressure reveals weakness. Pressure doesn't expose your flaws. Pressure exposes the parts of you that you refused to strengthen when you had the time. You have a choice. You can keep blaming the pressure, or you can build yourself into someone who performs because of it, not in spite of it. That's the key. Think about every arena where performance matters. Athletes, soldiers, surgeons, pilots, CEOs, elite performers in any field. They don't rise to the level of the moment. They don't magically become calm and precise when things get difficult. They don't suddenly produce excellence when everything is on the line. They fall back to their level of preparation. The work they did on quiet days shows up on loud days. The drills they practiced under calm conditions show up under chaotic ones. The discipline they built when no one was watching becomes the strength they rely on when everyone is watching. Prepare on calm days so you don't break on hard days. Repeat that until it sits in your bones. You don't need more confidence. You need more preparation. You don't need less pressure. You need less avoidance. You don't need a perfect environment. You need a trained mind. It's not about feeling ready. It's about being ready. Let's be brutally honest. Most people don't break under pressure because the moment is too heavy. They break because they entered the moment unprepared. They walked into the test without studying. They walked into the ring without training. They walked into the conflict without composure. They walked into the opportunity without discipline. And then they blame the pressure. But pressure is neutral. Pressure has no agenda. Pressure doesn't choose sides. Pressure gives advantage to the person who prepared, and it crushes the person who didn't. You have a choice. You can be sharpened by pressure, or you can be shattered by it. That's the key. Look at world-class athletes. Every skill they use under pressure is something they drilled for thousands of hours. Every moment of calm on the field was created by countless hours of controlled repetition. Every clutch performance was built in empty gyms long before the stadium ever filled. Look at soldiers. When chaos hits, they don't rely on emotion. They rely on training, tactical breathing, clear commands, practiced movement, conditioned responses. Look at CEOs and leaders. They make decisions worth millions under extreme pressure because they've rehearsed scenarios, gathered data, built systems, and trained themselves to stay rational when everyone else spirals. They're not superhuman. They're prepared. Pressure didn't make them great. Pressure showed that they were already ready. So let's bring it back to you. You want to stay calm under stress? Prepare your mind when life is quiet. You want to make better decisions? Practice clarity before chaos hits. You want to stop panicking? Expose yourself to micro-challenges until discomfort becomes familiar. Pressure feels overwhelming only when it's unfamiliar.
The more familiar pressure becomes, the less power it has over you. Let's talk about how to do this in real life. Mental drill number 1. Controlled exposure to discomfort. You don't become mentally strong by avoiding discomfort. You become mentally strong by facing small discomforts repeatedly until your mind adapts. Cold showers, hard conversations, uncomfortable workouts, public speaking in low-stakes rooms, saying no when you usually fold, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, finishing the task even when you feel tired. These are not random actions. They are micro-replications of pressure. They are pressure rehearsals. Small discomfort prepares you for big discomfort. Small stress prepares you for heavy stress. Small challenges prepare you for massive challenges. Prepare on calm days so you don't break on hard days. Mental drill number 2. The pressure simulation technique. If you want to handle pressure, you must simulate pressure. Set a timer and work under time limits. Practice your speeches out loud with interruptions. Train your communication skills while fatigued. Rehearse difficult conversations before they happen. Visualize high-pressure situations and watch yourself handle them with control. Your mind learns by repetition. Your nervous system learns by familiarity. The more often you simulate pressure, the less threatening real pressure becomes. This is how top performers stay composed. They've seen the moment before the moment arrives. Mental drill number 3. Anchor yourself under stress. You need an internal anchor, a reset pattern, a command you give yourself when pressure starts rising. It can be a phrase like, slow is smooth, control the pace, breathe first, or the line of this chapter, prepare on calm days so you don't break on hard days. When pressure hits, anchors break panic. Anchors pull you back into clarity. Anchors stop the spiral. This is preparation. This is training. This is discipline. You don't need anyone's permission to control your mind under pressure. You don't need approval. You don't need reassurance. You just need preparation. It's not about talent. It's about discipline. It's not about luck. It's about readiness. It's not about pressure. It's about preparation. Here's the transformation. When you prepare, pressure becomes fuel. Pressure becomes focus. Pressure becomes the thing that unlocks your best performance instead of your worst reaction. When you are prepared, pressure sharpens you. When you are unprepared, pressure exposes you. You have a choice. Every day, in every habit, in every drill, in every quiet moment where you decide whether to practice or procrastinate. That's the key. This chapter is your reminder that pressure is not the event. Pressure is the test. And like every test, you either study or you suffer. Prepare when life is peaceful. Prepare when life is stable. Prepare when no one is watching. Because when the hard days come, and they will, you will not rise to the pressure. You will fall to your level of preparation. Now you know why you've broken in the past. Now you know how to stop breaking in the future. Now you know the power of preparation. And now that you understand how pressure works, it's time to understand what you can control inside it.
Chapter 3. Control what you can, cut what you can't. Life becomes unbearable only when you try to control everything. That's the trap. That's the weight that breaks your focus. The truth is simple. Control the controllable. Release the rest. That's the key. But most people live backwards. They try to control opinions. They try to control outcomes.
They try to control timing, weather, traffic, luck, other people's emotions, and the entire universe around them. And then they wonder why they feel overwhelmed. You're not overwhelmed because life is hard. You're overwhelmed because your control is scattered. You're overwhelmed because your attention leaks into things that were never yours to manage. You have a choice. You can keep fighting the uncontrollable, or you can reclaim your power and narrow your focus. Today, this chapter gives you a tool that will change the way you operate. The control list. This is how winners think. This is how commanders move. This is how you stop reacting and start directing your life. The first shift: separate signal from noise. Every stressful situation has two parts: the part you control and the emotional noise you don't. Most people spend 90% of their energy on the noise. You can't control traffic, but you can control your reaction to it. You can control when you leave your house. You can control whether you panic or breathe. You can't control other people's opinions, but you can control your standards. You can control your boundaries. You can control your response. You can't control delays, but you can control your patience. You can control your backup plan. You can control your preparation. You can't control outcomes, but you can control the effort. You can control the consistency. You can control how many times you get back up. This separation is life-changing. It gives you clarity. It removes emotional waste. It frees your mind. Remember this: you don't need the world to cooperate. You need discipline to focus on your slice of power. The control list. The tool that ends overwhelm. Grab a notebook, a note app, or even your mind right now. Picture the problem in front of you. Break it into two columns. Column A, what I control. Column B, what I don't. This is your control list. Column A is your battlefield. Column B is not. You focus on column A. You release column B. Again and again. Every day. Let's walk through real examples so you understand the power of this tool. Example 1. Traffic. A normal person gets angry. Horns, yelling, stress. A trained mind checks the control list. What I control. When I leave. What I listen to. My breathing. My patience. My attitude. That's the key. What I don't control? Traffic flow. Other drivers. Road work. Delays. So why waste power on what you can't influence? Control the controllable. Release the rest. Example 2. Someone's opinion. They don't like you? Good. That's not your assignment. What I control. My character. My boundaries. My purpose. My consistency. What I don't control? Their perception. Their insecurities. Their projections. Stop fighting shadows. Stop arguing with ghosts. It's not about being liked, it's about being disciplined. That's the key. Example 3. Delays in life. Maybe you're behind schedule. Maybe things aren't moving fast enough. Maybe life is taking longer than you expected. What I control. My daily actions. My schedule. My learning. How I use waiting time. How I adapt. What I don't control. Perfect timing. Instant results. How quickly success appears. Most people suffer because they try to control the timeline instead of controlling their effort. You have a choice. Stop demanding speed. Start demanding consistency. Example 4.
outcomes. Here's a painful truth. You can control the process, but you can never guarantee the outcome. You can prepare. You can train. You can practice. You can work harder than everyone in the room. But the final outcome? It's always bigger than you. That's why discipline matters. That's the key. Outcomes belong to the world. Effort belongs to you. Control the controllable. Release the rest. The mental shift of commanders. When you master this chapter, something transformational happens inside you. Suddenly, your mind becomes quiet. Not because life is easier, but because you stop fighting battles that aren't yours. A commander doesn't chase noise. A commander doesn't plead for perfect conditions. A commander focuses on what can be executed today, right now, this second. That's how you win in every situation. Most people fold because they waste themselves on uncontrollable factors. But you're training differently. You're conditioning your mind to win. And winners have a rule. If it's outside your control, it's outside your concern. That's the key. The daily practice. Here is what you will start doing today. 1. When something stresses you, pause. Ask, is this mine to control? If yes, take action. If no, release it. 2. Create a control list for every major situation. Write it. Say it. Think it. Repetition strengthens clarity. 3. Cut emotional noise instantly. Don't argue with what you can't change. Don't negotiate with what isn't yours. 4. Train your focus like a muscle. Every time you choose what you can control, you get stronger. You're rewriting your instinct. 5. End your day with a simple check-in. What did I control today? What did I release? This builds the commander mindset. The transformation. When you live this way, something powerful happens. You stop overthinking. You stop panicking. You stop reacting. You stop wasting energy. You become stable, calm, unshakable. Why? Because you finally understand the truth. Life doesn't overwhelm you. Your attachment to the uncontrollable does. And now you're cutting that attachment. You're freeing your mind. You're sharpening your mission. You're building a life that runs on clarity, not chaos. This is what real strength feels like. Closing the chapter. You now know the rule that will carry you through every situation. Control the controllable. Release the rest. Say it again. Say it until it becomes instinct. Say it until stress loses its power. This is how you reclaim your mental authority. This is how you stop reacting and start directing. And now that you understand control, it's time to understand the next layer of power, the one that multiplies your focus.
Chapter 4. Your mind follows your environment. Fix it. Look around you. Your environment is not neutral. It's not passive. It's not just a place. Your environment is training you. Every day, every hour, every minute. Your environment trains you. Make it a coach, not a trap. That's the key. Most people don't lose because they're weak. They lose because their environment constantly pulls them backward. Clutter pulls them. Noise pulls them. Chaotic people pull them.
Screens, distractions, comfort zones, they all pull the mind into softness. And the worst part? Most people don't even notice the training. They think their reactions are random. They think their discipline is inconsistent. They think their habits are personal failures. No. Your environment is shaping you without permission. But here's the truth. You have a choice. You can let your environment control you, or you can take control of the environment that controls your mind. This chapter is about reclaiming that power. The invisible trainer around you. Your environment is always shaping your behavior, silently, constantly, ruthlessly. If your room is messy, your mind becomes messy. If your desk is chaotic, your thoughts scatter. If your surroundings are filled with distractions, your discipline dissolves. It doesn't matter how strong your intentions are. Your environment wins the battle you refuse to fight. You may think you have a motivation problem. You don't. You have an environment problem. It's not about laziness. It's about discipline. That's the key. When you look at your environment, you're looking at a mirror of your future. You cannot upgrade your life while living in the same chaos that broke you. You cannot build a sharp mind in a dull environment. You cannot create discipline in a place that constantly encourages weakness. Your environment trains you. Make it a coach, not a trap. The 3 forms of environment that control you. You don't just live in one environment. You live in 3: physical environment, digital environment, and social environment. All 3 shape your identity. All 3 build or break discipline. And in all 3, you have a choice. Let's break each one down. 1. The physical environment. Your reality trainer. Your physical surroundings are the first battlefield. Your bedroom, your desk, your kitchen, your workspace, your car. Every object has influence. Every arrangement has impact. Nothing is neutral. A cluttered environment trains a cluttered mind. A dirty environment trains a lazy mind. An unorganized environment trains a reactive mind. That's the trap. But a clean environment, a structured environment, a minimalist environment, that trains clarity. That trains discipline. That trains control. Your environment trains you. Make it a coach, not a trap. Your physical environment must reduce friction, remove temptations, increase focus, increase readiness. This is why military barracks are spotless, not because soldiers are bored, but because the environment trains mental order, and mental order produces precise action. You want more discipline? Start with your room. Start with your desk. Start with your car. Not because cleaning magically fixes life, but because it removes triggers that weaken you. It removes distractions that drain you. It removes excuses before they begin. Cleaning is not about perfection. It's about control. That's the key. 2. The digital environment. Your invisible addiction loop. Your digital world shapes you just as much as your physical one. Every notification pulls your mind. Every toxic post drains your confidence. Every comparison kills your momentum. You scroll once, then twice, then 30 minutes vanish, and then you say you lack discipline. No, you allowed your digital environment to trap you. You don't need their permission. You don't need their validation. You don't need the constant noise. You need structure. You need limits. You need direction. Your environment trains you. Make it a coach, not a trap. Fix your digital environment. Remove apps that waste time. Turn off non-essential notifications. Clean your home screen. Set screen limits. Unfollow people who poison your mind. This is not about becoming antisocial. This is about becoming intentional. That's the key. Your digital world should support your identity, not steal it. 3. The social environment, the most powerful trainer of all. Your brain mirrors the environment it experiences most. That's why the people around you are not random. They are trainers. The question is simple. Are they training you to rise or to fall? You have a choice. Fix your social environment. Limit contact with people who drain your energy. Raise boundaries with people who take without giving. Stop seeking approval from those who don't live the life you want. Surround yourself with discipline, ambition, and standards. You don't need their permission. You don't need their opinions. You don't need their insecurities in your space. Your future is too important for that. Your environment trains you. Make it a coach, not a trap. The Declutter Protocol. Clean space, clean mind. You cannot build a strong mind in a weak environment. So here is the protocol you will start today. Step 1. Clean physical clutter. Anything you haven't used in 6 months? Remove it. Anything that drains your focus? Move it. Anything that keeps you stuck in old habits? Replace it. Step 2. Clean digital clutter. Delete, unfollow, mute, block, reset your feed to match your future, not your past. Step 3. Clean social clutter. Reduce access, raise standards, remove chaos. You don't have to cut everyone out, but you must control the proximity. Your environment becomes your identity. That's the key. The transformation. A mind that finally breathes. Once you fix your environment, something powerful happens. You think clearer. You react slower. You feel stronger. You choose better. You focus deeper. Your discipline rises because your environment supports discipline. Your habits stabilize because your environment stabilizes them. Your reactions improve because your environment no longer triggers them. You finally understand a truth most people never learn. You don't create discipline through willpower. You create discipline through environment. Your environment trains you. So build an environment that trains you to win. That's the key. Closing the chapter. You now know the truth. You are not just living in an environment. Your environment is living inside you. It shapes your habits. It shapes your thoughts. It shapes your identity. So fix it. Clean it. Control it. Command it. Because a controlled environment builds a controlled mind, and a controlled mind wins. You have a choice. Make the environment your coach, not your trap. And now that your environment is set, it's time to learn the next layer of mental power, the skill that turns pressure into progress.
Chapter 5. Discipline is a system, not a mood. You've been lied to your entire life.
You were told to feel motivated. You were told to wait until you're ready. You were told to start when you feel inspired. That's the trap. That's the weakness. That's the lie that keeps people average. Because discipline has never been about emotion. Discipline has never been about enthusiasm. Discipline has never been about feeling good. Discipline is a system, not a mood. That's the key. If your discipline depends on your feelings, you'll fail. Because feelings fluctuate. Feelings are unstable. Feelings lie to you. Feelings disappear the moment life gets heavy. But systems? Systems are consistent. Systems are predictable. Systems work whether you're tired, angry, sad, bored, or unmotivated. Systems succeed. Feelings fluctuate. And this chapter will teach you exactly how to build a disciplined system so strong that your mood no longer gets a vote in your future. The truth about why you can't stay consistent. You don't have a consistency problem. You have a system problem. You're trying to run your life on hope, on excitement, on temporary inspiration. But motivation is a spark. It lights quickly and it dies quickly. You cannot build a life on sparks. You need structure. You need standards. You need automatic behavior. Every champion knows this. Every high performer knows this. Every disciplined person you admire already lives by one rule. Their system makes the decision for them. They don't wake up and ask, "Do I feel like it today?" They wake up and follow this system. You have a choice. Keep depending on emotion, or build a system that makes emotion irrelevant. That's the key. The three-part discipline system. Discipline is not magic. It's not personality. It's not genetics. It is structure. And structure comes from a simple formula. Q equals action equals reward equals repeat. This is how habits form. This is how discipline becomes automatic. This is how you stop negotiating with yourself every morning. Let's break each piece down so you can apply it immediately. 1. The Q. Trigger yourself into action. Every disciplined action must start with a cue, a signal, a trigger that tells your brain, move. You're not waiting for motivation. You're engineering momentum. Examples: lay your workout clothes next to your bed. Set an alarm labeled with your goal. Put your phone in another room before you sleep. Keep your to-do list in front of your keyboard. A cue removes decision-making. A cue eliminates friction. A cue says, this is what happens next. And that's the key. If you remove thinking, you remove resistance. You don't need their permission. You don't need your mood's permission. You need a cue that starts the chain reaction. Because systems succeed, feelings fluctuate. 2. The action. Do the work without negotiation. This is the heart of the system. The moment you act without debate, without delay, without excuses, your entire identity shifts. Remember this. Every time you hesitate, you strengthen the old you. Every time you act immediately, you strengthen the new you. This chapter isn't about forcing giant actions. It's about building automatic ones. Do the reps, write the page, make the call, clean the space,
Do the thing. Small actions repeated consistently will transform your identity faster than rare bursts of intense effort. Why? Because consistency creates self-trust, and self-trust creates inner power. You have a choice. Act now or negotiate later. Act now or excuse later. Act now or regret later. But if you follow the system, you won't need to choose. The action becomes automatic. That's the key. 3. The reward. Prove to your brain that discipline pays. Your brain needs evidence, proof, reinforcement. This is where most people fail. They do the action, but they never celebrate the win. They never anchor the behavior into their identity. You don't need a trophy. You need acknowledgement. A simple checkmark in a notebook. A moment of pride after a workout. A clean desk before bed. A calm exhale after completing a task. Your brain needs to feel the reward, because reward builds repetition. Repetition builds identity. Identity builds automatic discipline. Systems succeed, feelings fluctuate. So reward the system, not the mood. How to make the system unbreakable. Now that you understand the formula, you need to make it bulletproof, unshakable, untouchable by doubt, laziness, stress, or anxiety. Here's how. 1. Lower the resistance, not the standard. You don't need to run 5 kilometers, but you must put your shoes on. You don't need to write 10 pages, but you must open the document. You don't need to clean the whole house, but you must clear one surface. Small, consistent action beats large, inconsistent action every time. 2. Remove negotiation. No internal debates. No, I'll do it later. No talking yourself out of the system. When the cue triggers, the action begins. Non-negotiable, automatic. 3. Protect your system from your emotions. Your mood is irrelevant. Your discipline is not. You don't need to feel good to do good. That's the key. Remember, it's not about motivation. It's about structure. It's not about excitement. It's about execution. It's not about mood. It's about system. The transformation that happens. When you switch from emotional living to systematic living, your entire life changes. You stop waiting. You stop hesitating. You stop doubting. You stop negotiating. You start moving. You start progressing. You start trusting yourself. You start winning. You become someone who acts regardless of mood. Someone who doesn't wait for permission. Someone who builds discipline the way others build excuses. Your system becomes your coach. Your system becomes your discipline. Your system becomes your identity. Systems succeed, feelings fluctuate. Never forget that. Closing the chapter. You now understand why you've struggled. You were fighting your emotions instead of building your systems. You were trying to feel disciplined instead of designing discipline. But now you know the truth. Discipline isn't something you wait for. It's something you build. Cue, action, reward, repeat. This is how you win consistently. This is how you build an identity that doesn't break. This is how you create a mind that follows structure, not mood. You have a choice. Live emotionally or live systematically. Choose the system. Because systems don't lie. Systems don't fade. Systems don't disappear when life gets difficult.
Chapter 6. Stop negotiating with yourself. Decide once, execute daily. You know why your life feels heavier than it should? Because you're in negotiations with yourself every single day. Every morning, every task, every goal. There's a debate going on in your head. Should I do it now? Maybe later. Do I really feel like it today? This constant bargaining is the silent killer of momentum. It's the invisible drain on your discipline. You think you're tired because you work hard. No. You're tired because you negotiate too much. That's the truth. And that's the key. You wake up and your mind immediately starts offering discounts. It tries to sell you a softer version of your life. Your brain says, just 5 more minutes. You deserve it. Your excuses say, tomorrow is better. And you believe them. Not because they're true, but because they're comfortable. Here's the harsh reality. Every negotiation with yourself moves you further away from the person you want to become. You think successful people are superhuman. You think they're built different. You think they're more motivated, more inspired, more energetic. Wrong. They just don't negotiate. They don't debate. They don't ask for permission from anyone, including themselves. They decide once, they execute daily. That's the rule, and that's the key. You must understand this. Discipline is not built in the moment of action. It's built in the moments before action, when the negotiation starts. Your mind offers you 2 doors. Door 1, the work. Door 2, the excuse. That's it. That's the whole battlefield. And every negotiation is your mind trying to drag you through door 2. When you say, should I work out today? You've already lost. When you say, should I study tonight? You've already lost. When you say, should I finish what I started? You've already lost. Because the moment you ask the question, the negotiation begins. And negotiations always favor comfort. Always. Because comfort is easy to sell. You need a new rule. A simple one. A brutal one. A rule that cuts the negotiation before it even starts. The no negotiation rule. If it's on the schedule, it gets done. Not discussed, not doubted, not delayed. You don't need to feel like it. You don't need motivation. You don't need energy. You don't need permission. You just need to show up. That's the key. And that's your power. Let's break down how internal negotiations destroy consistency. Negotiation creates friction. Friction creates hesitation. Hesitation creates delay. Delay kills momentum. And once momentum dies, everything becomes heavy. Everything becomes slow. Everything becomes difficult. You're not inconsistent because you lack talent. You're inconsistent because you pause long enough to argue with yourself. Think about this. Every time you negotiate, you create a version of yourself that is weaker than the version who committed. You create doubt. You create openings for excuses. You create loopholes. And once the loophole appears, discipline dies. This is why your life feels like a cycle of starting strong and fading out. This is why goals feel heavy at the beginning and impossible by the end. This is why you feel stuck, even when you're trying. You're not stuck. You're negotiating. And negotiation is the enemy. So what's the solution?
You replace negotiation with execution. You replace should I with I am. You replace decisions with commitments. You must learn to shut down the internal lawyer, the voice that tries to argue for your limitations. It's persuasive. It's clever. It knows exactly what to say to make you back down. But here's your advantage. You don't need to win the argument. You just need to stop having it. You need one decision, one commitment, one line in the sand. Decide once, execute daily. Decide your workout routine once, then execute daily. Decide your study schedule once, then execute daily. Decide your goals once, then execute daily. No negotiating, no bargaining, no, what if I'm tired today? No, what if I feel off today? You already decided. Your only job now is execution. That's the key. Here's the truth most people never want to face. Your future is determined by how often you break your own promises. Every time you negotiate, you break a promise to yourself. Every time you debate a commitment, you weaken your identity. You need to build a new identity, the identity of a person who follows through, the identity of a person who is reliable, the identity of a person who doesn't negotiate with their weakness. When you stop negotiating, something powerful happens. Your brain stops offering excuses. Your mind stops selling comfort. Your emotions stop dictating your actions. You become consistent. You become reliable. You become unshakable. You build momentum, and momentum is everything. Momentum makes discipline feel effortless. Momentum makes consistency automatic. Momentum makes you unstoppable. But momentum only exists in a no-negotiation environment. If you break the rule once, the negotiation returns. This is why you must guard this rule with your life. This is why you must practice it daily. This is why you must commit to it fully. Because this rule transforms everything. Decide once, execute daily. That's your new operating system. Let me be clear. This does not mean your schedule must be perfect. It means your commitment must be. Life will get in the way. Disruptions will happen. Plans will shift. But the identity remains constant. You are the person who executes. You are the person who follows through. You are the person who doesn't negotiate with weakness. When something unavoidable breaks your routine, you don't negotiate. You adjust and immediately execute the next thing. No guilt, no drama, no excuses. That's discipline. And that's the key. If you truly want to change your life, stop creating optional versions of your responsibilities. Stop giving yourself multiple doors. Stop entertaining alternatives. You don't need plan B. You need consistency. You need certainty. You need execution. And you need to understand this one final truth. Negotiation is a habit, but so is discipline. You choose which one becomes your identity. You choose which one you practice daily. You choose who you become. And you choose it now, in this moment. This is the exact point where the old version of you dies and the disciplined version is born. Decide once, execute daily. That's your command. That's your power. That's the key. You stopped fighting your thoughts in the last chapter. Now you stop negotiating with your actions in this one. You are becoming someone unrecognizable, someone powerful, someone disciplined. Now it's time to take the next step. You mastered inner conflict. Now let's talk about what truly shapes the direction of your life.
Chapter 7. Slow thinking is power. Fast emotions are weakness. Slow is clear. Clear is powerful. Most people don't ruin their lives with big decisions. They ruin them with fast ones, impulsive ones, emotional ones. One text sent too quickly. One reaction made too loudly. one assumption swallowed without thinking. Fast emotions create instant damage. They burn bridges. They escalate conflicts. They make you look unstable. And here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You're not losing because you're weak. You're losing because you're fast. And that's the key. Fast thinking is survival thinking. It's panic. It's fear. It's ego. It's your primitive mind trying to protect you, but ending up sabotaging you. But slow thinking is strategy. Slow thinking is power. Slow thinking is where your intelligence lives, not your instincts. You have a choice. React fast and lose, or respond slow and win, every time. Because slow is clear, and clear is powerful. Let's look at reality. You've made mistakes you regret, not because you were stupid, not because you didn't know better, but because you didn't slow down. You didn't breathe. You didn't analyze. You didn't observe. You reacted fast, emotionally, automatically. That's the key problem. Fast emotions don't care about your future. Fast emotions only care about your comfort in the moment. They want to protect your ego. They want to avoid discomfort. They want the last word, the quick hit, the instant gratification. But they destroy your long-term peace, your long-term reputation, your long-term goals. Your life changes the moment you accept this truth. Fast emotions are weakness. Slow thinking is power. Imagine a commander in crisis. Does he panic? Does he shout the first thought that hits his mind? Does he let emotion decide the strategy? No, because he knows something you must learn today. A single rushed decision can ruin everything, but a single slow breath can save it. Slow is clear. Clear is powerful. You're not meant to live like a reactor. A reactor is unpredictable. A reactor is unstable. A reactor is easily manipulated by pressure, people, and emotion. But a commander moves slow on the inside, even if everything outside is chaos. A commander pauses. A commander evaluates. A commander chooses. And then he strikes. Not out of emotion, but out of clarity. Not because he panicked, but because he understood. That's the key. You don't need their permission to think slowly. You don't need approval to pause. You don't need anybody's validation to take a breath before responding. You just need discipline. Because it's not about emotion, it's about control. It's not about speed, it's about clarity. It's not about reacting, it's about thinking. Let's talk about what fast emotions actually cost you. Fast emotions make you defend things you don't believe. Fast emotions make you say things you don't mean. Fast emotions make you escalate situations that didn't need escalation. Fast emotions turn small problems into big ones. Fast emotions turn misunderstandings into full-blown conflicts. Fast emotions turn temporary feelings into permanent consequences. You have paid the price for fast emotion your whole life. You've lost opportunities, relationships, trust, and time because you didn't slow down. So let this sink in deeply. Slow is clear. Clear is powerful. Now let's shift to transformation. Here's the behavior you must train: the strategic pause. The strategic pause is simple.
Whenever you feel emotion rising, you stop. You breathe. You create space. Even if that space is only 1 second, even if it's only one inhale, it's enough. Because that 1 second blocks the emotional reaction. That 1 second breaks the pattern. That 1 second activates your higher mind. You cannot think clearly while emotion is sprinting. You cannot see truth while your ego is screaming. You cannot plan your next move while your mind is drowning in speed. Slow yourself. That's the key. Before you speak, pause. Before you text back, pause. Before you argue, pause. Before you assume, pause. Not for 10 minutes. Not for an hour. Just long enough to let emotion drop and clarity rise. Because slow is clear. Clear is powerful. Here's another principle. Slow thinking does not mean slow action. People get this wrong all the time. Slow thinking means your mind is clear before you act. It means your emotions don't hijack your decisions. It means your reactions are intentional, not impulsive. Look at high performers, athletes, leaders, negotiators, surgeons, pilots. They all practice slow thinking. They respond strategically under pressure. They move with precision, not panic. They stay calm while everything around them is chaotic. Not because they're fearless, not because they're superhuman, but because they know the truth. Fast emotions are weakness. Slow thinking is power. Now let's make this real for you. Here are the practices you must adopt. 1. Answer slowly always. If someone pressures you for an immediate response, pause anyway. The more someone demands speed, the more careful your answer must be. 2. Train your breath. 1 deep inhale, 1 long exhale. This single breath blocks emotional decision-making. This single breath activates clarity. You cannot think clearly while emotion is sprinting. You cannot see truth while your ego is screaming. You cannot plan your next move while your mind is drowning in speed. Slow yourself. That's the key. This chapter is about identity. The identity shift from a reactor to a commander, from emotional to strategic, from impulsive to intelligent. You have a choice every day. Move fast and lose clarity, or move slow and win power. Slow is not weakness. Slowness is wisdom. Slowness is control. Slowness is power. Slow is clear. Clear is powerful. And this clarity will change the direction of your entire life. Once you master slow thinking, you cannot be manipulated. You cannot be provoked. You cannot be rushed. You cannot be controlled. Because clarity is freedom, and slow thinking is how you earn it. You've now learned how to stop reacting like a victim and start responding like a commander. You've learned how to turn chaotic emotion into strategic power. You've learned how to slow your mind and sharpen your decisions. And now, it's time to strengthen the next layer of your discipline. The external world. Your environment. Your inputs. Your influences. So let's move forward. You've mastered slow thinking. Now it's time to master the battlefield around you.
Chapter 8. Your confidence comes from evidence, not hope. Confidence is earned, not imagined. People want confidence, but they want it cheap. They want it instantly.
They want it without work, without discipline, without proof. They try affirmations. They try motivational speeches. They try pretending they feel strong. But pretending is not confidence. Wishing is not confidence. Hope is not confidence. Confidence is evidence. Evidence of consistency. Evidence of discipline. Evidence of promises kept. And that's the key. You have a choice. Keep trying to feel confident, or start doing the work that creates confidence. Confidence is earned, not imagined. Real confidence doesn't come from what you say. It comes from what you do. Your brain only trusts one thing: your track record. If your track record is weak, your confidence will be weak. If your track record is strong, your confidence will be unshakable. You don't need their permission to build real confidence. You don't need anyone cheering for you. You don't need external validation, because real confidence comes from internal evidence. You show yourself what you can do. You prove it. You repeat it. It's not about motivation. It's about discipline. It's not about hope. It's about habits. It's not about feeling powerful. It's about becoming powerful. Confidence is earned, not imagined. Let's break down the truth. Your confidence is low not because you're broken, not because you're weak, not because you lack self-esteem. Your confidence is low because you don't trust yourself. You say you'll do things, and then you don't. You make promises and break them. You set goals and abandon them. How can you trust someone who always lies? You can't. And your brain knows when you're lying to yourself. Every broken promise becomes evidence. Evidence that you can't rely on you. Evidence that you don't finish what you start. Evidence that your word means nothing. But here's the part that matters. The reverse is also true. Every kept promise becomes evidence. Evidence that you can depend on yourself. Evidence that you have consistency inside you. Evidence that you finish what you start. And that's the beginning of real confidence. Confidence is earned, not imagined. Let's get practical. I'm going to give you the tool that rebuilds confidence from the inside out. Not with affirmations, not with hype, not with delusion. I'm talking about the evidence log. The evidence log changes everything, because your mind stops operating on emotion and starts operating on proof. Here's how it works. Every day, you track 3 things: a win you created, a promise you kept, and a reaction you controlled. That's it. 3 proofs, 3 receipts, 3 pieces of evidence. Over time, this becomes a powerful identity shift, because you stop telling yourself who you want to be, and you start proving who you are becoming. That's the key. Confidence is earned, not imagined. Let's go deeper into each piece. 1. Track every win you create. Small wins matter. Daily wins matter. Micro wins matter. The problem is you ignore them. You only notice the big failures, the big mistakes, the big disappointments. But confidence is built in the quiet moments nobody sees. You woke up on time. That's a win. You handled a conversation calmly. That's a win. You trained when you didn't feel like it. That's a win. Every win becomes a brick. Brick by brick, confidence grows. Brick by brick, your identity shifts. Because confidence is evidence, not emotion, not hype, not imagination. Confidence is earned, not imagined.
2. Track every promise you keep. Nothing destroys confidence faster than breaking your own word. Nothing builds confidence faster than honoring it. You said you'd read for 10 minutes. Did you? You said you'd cut the junk food. Did you? You said you'd stop reacting emotionally. Did you? You have a choice. Live with discipline or live with excuses. One builds confidence, one destroys it. Because here's the truth. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you become more powerful. Every time you fail to keep one, you become weaker. Your confidence is simply the sum of your kept promises. Confidence is earned, not imagined. 3. Track every reaction you control. Most people lose confidence because their emotions run their life. They react too quickly. They explode too easily. They break under pressure. But controlled reactions are proof of strength, proof of emotional discipline, proof of mental mastery. When you choose the calm response instead of the emotional one, that's evidence. When you walk away instead of escalating, that's evidence. When you pause instead of panicking, that's evidence. Every controlled reaction is a signal. You're becoming someone who can trust themselves. You're becoming someone who acts with intention. You're becoming someone who doesn't fold under pressure. And that's what confidence truly is. Self-trust, self-command, self-evidence. Confidence is earned, not imagined. Now let's talk about transformation. You want unstoppable confidence? Then stop trying to build confidence through feeling. Start building confidence through evidence. You have a choice. Hope you'll feel confident someday, or start creating proof right now. It's not about hype, it's about habits. It's not about self-esteem, it's about self-respect. It's not about pretending, it's about proving. Confidence is earned, not imagined. Here's what will happen when you live this way. You'll become more grounded. You'll become more stable. You'll become more consistent. People will start trusting you because they'll feel the shift in your energy. Not loud confidence, not fake confidence, calm confidence, solid confidence, evidence-based confidence. The type that doesn't need approval, the type that doesn't need attention, the type that doesn't need validation. Because when you have evidence, you have certainty. And when you have certainty, you have power. Confidence built on evidence can't be shaken, not by criticism, not by failure, not by pressure, because your evidence is stronger than your emotions. Confidence is earned, not imagined. So remember this. You don't need to wait to feel confident. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need to wait for motivation. Start tracking wins. Start keeping promises. Start controlling reactions. Your evidence will grow. Your trust will grow. Your identity will grow. And your confidence will become inevitable. You just finished building the foundation of unshakable self-trust. Now it's time to take that trust and apply it where most people fall apart, your emotional stamina. You built confidence, now let's build mental endurance.
Chapter 9. Win quietly. Let results speak. Talk less, prove more. Most people lose before they start. Not because they lack talent, not because they lack ability, but because they leak their power through noise. They talk too much, they announce too much, they explain too much, they crave approval too much. Every plan they share weakens. Every goal they broadcast dilutes. Every dream they announce loses force. Because talking replaces doing. Talking feels like progress. Talking satisfies ego.
Talking gives you the illusion of momentum without the responsibility of execution. That's the trap. And you've been in it before. But starting now, you step out. Because you're going to shift from validation to improvement. From noise to discipline. From performance for others to performance for yourself. Talk less, prove more. People who talk loudly always reveal the same insecurity. They want to be seen working instead of actually working. They want applause more than mastery. They want credit before results. But real performers, real executors, real winners, they move in silence. They build without broadcast. They focus without attention. You have a choice: seek attention or build power. You cannot do both. Attention gives you temporary dopamine. Power gives you permanent transformation. And that's the key. It's not about impressing people. It's about improving yourself. It's not about approval. It's about discipline. It's not about noise. It's about results. Talk less, prove more. Let's get brutally honest. Validation has weakened you. You didn't notice it at first, because validation feels good. It feels like progress. It feels like momentum. But validation is a thief. It steals your drive. It steals your hunger. It steals the pressure that makes you grow. When you tell people your goals, your brain releases the same chemicals it releases when you actually achieve them. So you feel accomplished before you've done anything. That's the silent killer of ambition. The more you talk, the less you do. The more you announce, the less you build. The more you chase applause, the more you lose yourself. You don't need their permission to grow quietly. You don't need their attention to transform. You don't need their applause to win. You only need discipline. You only need consistency. You only need proof. Talk less, prove more. Let's think about the difference between loud people and silent executors. Loud people. They tell you what they're about to do. They brag about their plans. They want to be praised for effort they haven't made yet. They want recognition before results. Silent executors? They don't announce. They don't explain. They don't seek permission. They disappear into the work. And when they show up with results. That's the identity you're building right now. Not someone who talks, someone who produces. Not someone who brags, someone who delivers. Not someone who performs for a crowd, someone who performs for their future self. Talk less, prove more. Let's get practical. You're going to adopt the quiet execution method. 3 steps that create powerful results with no noise, no drama, no performance. 1. Stop announcing your goals. No more telling people what you're planning. No more broadcasting your intentions. No more "I'm going to start" conversations. Your goals are not for public consumption. They're for private execution. Announce nothing. Build everything. This is where your discipline grows. Because silence forces focus. Silence forces commitment. Silence forces proof. You have a choice. Feed the ego or feed the mission. Choose the mission. Talk less, prove more. 2. Work in uncomfortable silence. Silence is not empty. Silence is pressure. When no one knows what you're building, you can't hide behind their encouragement. You can't rely on their motivation. You can't lean on their praise. You're alone with your work, alone with your discipline, alone with your choices. And that's where real growth happens. Because silence forces responsibility. Silence eliminates the audience. Silence exposes your true level of discipline. Most people need noise because noise hides their weaknesses. You don't. You're choosing the uncomfortable silence where identity changes. Talk less, prove more. 3. Let results announce you. When the work is done, you won't need to say a word. Your progress will speak. Your transformation will speak. Your outcomes will speak. That's the beauty of quiet winning. You don't have to convince anyone. You don't have to defend your path. You don't have to explain your decisions. Results speak a language louder than words. Results silence critics. Results end arguments. Results reveal truth. People trust results. People respect results. People can't deny results. And you don't need their permission to achieve them. You just need discipline. Talk less, prove more. Now let's address the emotional side of this transformation. When you stop talking, you will feel withdrawal. Your ego will panic. It will crave validation. It will crave attention. It will crave the comfort of being seen. Your ego will say things like, tell someone what you're doing. Let them know how hard you're working. Show them your progress. Ignore it. Ego wants applause. Discipline wants progress. You have a choice. Feed the ego that keeps you weak, or feed the discipline that makes you unstoppable. Choose the discipline. Every time. Talk less, prove more. Here's the truth you must accept. Quiet work creates loud results. Loud talk creates weak outcomes. The world does not reward noise. It rewards competence. It rewards discipline. It rewards follow-through. You don't need to announce your journey. Just take it. You don't need to convince anyone of your potential. Just build it. You don't need to seek validation along the way. Just earn the results that validate themselves. Because the person who wins quietly wins for real. Talk less, prove more. You've learned to build without noise. You've learned to shift from validation to improvement. You've learned to convert ego into discipline. Now you're ready for the final leap, the transformation that ties this entire audiobook together. You controlled reactions. You mastered discipline. You built confidence. You learned to win quietly. Now it's time for the last upgrade, your identity.
Chapter 10. The Mental Fortress. Becoming untouchable in any situation. You want real power. Not the kind you post. Not the kind you pretend to have. I'm talking about the power nobody can shake. The power nobody can touch. The power that stays solid, no matter who talks, no matter who leaves, no matter what collapses around you. That power comes from one place, your internal world, your mental fortress. And here's the truth. If your mind is weak, your life is weak. If your mind is chaotic, your decisions are chaotic. If your mind is open to every distraction, every insult, every emotion, you're not living, you're reacting. But you have a choice. You can build a mind that does not bend every time pressure hits. You can build a mind that does not break every time someone disrespects you. You can build a mind that remains calm, stable, untouchable. Calm is control. Control is power. Say it again. Calm is control. Control is power. Because that's the foundation of your fortress. The world is loud. You must be quiet inside. People think mental strength is about intimidation, aggression, or dominance. They're wrong. Mental strength is the ability to stay steady while everyone else spins.
Mental strength is the ability to respond when others react. Mental strength is the ability to stay clear when others get emotional. You don't need their permission to build this. You don't need their approval. You don't need anyone to understand you. Because this is internal work, invisible work, commander work. Your fortress is not built in public. It's built in the private moments when life hits you and you choose discipline over emotion. That's the key. Not perfection, not confidence, not motivation. Discipline. It's not about who hurts you. It's about how quickly you return to control. It's not about mistakes. It's about how you recover. It's not about chaos. It's about the structure you build inside yourself. Calm is control. Control is power. The weak mind responds first. The strong mind responds last. You've seen it. People lose their temper over nothing. People panic at the smallest inconvenience. People crumble the moment something doesn't go their way. Fast emotions, fast reactions, fast collapse. That's a weak mind. A strong mind waits, observes, analyzes, acts only when the moment is right. You learned this already. Slow thinking is power. Fast emotions are weakness. And now you combine that with the no negotiation rule. Decide once, execute daily. This is how the fortress is built, layer by layer, decision by decision, discipline by discipline. You're no longer the person who reacts. You're the person who directs. That's the key. The 3 layers of the mental fortress. Let's build your fortress step by step. Layer 1. Observation without emotion. Most people can't observe anything without taking it personally. Someone looks at them wrong. Someone disagrees. Someone criticizes. Instant reaction. You have a choice. You can choose to observe first and interpret later. You can choose to see things exactly as they are, not as your emotions paint them. This is how commanders think. This is how leaders think. This is how mentally strong people think. Calm is control. Control is power. Layer 2. Analysis without panic. You can't think clearly when you're drowning in emotion. You can't plan when you're stressed. You can't decide when you're angry. So slow down, breathe, detach, analyze like a strategist. Ask yourself, what is the actual problem? What is the smartest response? What is the long-term consequence of reacting emotionally right now? Your fortress gets stronger every time you refuse to let panic make your decisions, because panic is weakness. Strategy is power. Layer 3. Action without noise. When you act, do it quietly. Do it precisely. Do it with intention. You learned this in the last chapter. Talk less, prove more. Your actions become heavier when your energy is calm. Your decisions become sharper when your mind is steady. Your results become louder when your mouth becomes quieter. You don't need their permission. You don't need validation. You don't need applause. Your fortress is not built to impress them. It's built to protect you. Emotional control is not suppression. It's command. People confuse emotional control with emotional suppression. They think you're ignoring your feelings. They think you're cold. No. Emotional control is not denial. It's direction. It's saying, I feel this, but I choose what I do next.
That's the key. You choose. You decide. You direct. You don't let fear decide. You don't let anger decide. You don't let insecurity decide. Because you finally understand, calm is control. Control is power. The world can touch your circumstances, but not your mind. People can disappoint you. People can betray you. People can underestimate you. Life can hit you. Life can delay you. Life can pressure you. But nothing gets inside unless you open the door. That's the mental fortress, the ability to protect your inner world even when the outer world tries to crush you. You have a choice every single day to let situations invade your mind or to guard it with discipline. It's not about being emotionless, it's about being unshakable, not cold, controlled, not detached, directed. You don't break because someone is loud. You don't fall because life is unfair. You don't lose because someone tried to intimidate you. Your fortress stands. You stand. Integration, the commander mindset. Now we bring everything together. Awareness, control, discipline, slow thinking, quiet execution, evidence-based confidence. This is the new identity forming inside you. This is the commander. This is the mind you've been building from Chapter 1. A mind that sees clearly, a mind that acts intentionally, a mind that never gives permission to chaos. Observe, analyze, act. That's the cycle. That's the lifestyle. That's the fortress. Calm is control. Control is power. And now, you're ready for the final step. Final instruction. Guard your inner world like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your future depends on it. Your relationships depend on it. Your success depends on it. When your mind becomes untouchable, your life becomes unstoppable. That's the transformation. That's the shift. That's the command. You mastered your reactions. You mastered your confidence. You mastered your discipline. Now, you master your world. Calm is control. Control is power. And now, you're ready for the final step.
You now understand what most people never learn. Winning begins in the mind, long before it appears in your life. You've learned how to control your reactions, how to think clearly under pressure, how to eliminate negotiation, how to build discipline, and how to construct a mental fortress that no chaos can penetrate. You've learned that confidence is earned, not wished for, that consistency is stronger than motivation, that preparing your mind is the ultimate competitive advantage. But none of this matters if you don't act. Training starts now, exactly where you are, exactly with what you have. From today forward, speak less and prove more. React less and direct more. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Create them. Don't hope for strength. Build it. Here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, control your first reaction, eliminate excuses, and follow through on every single promise you make to yourself. Do this, and you won't just listen to this audiobook, you will become it.